Howdy viewers, BigMacDaddyI here. Just wanted to try something different today. Maybe wanted to do a podcast. Well, you know what? I am going to do a podcast. And this podcast is brought to you by BigMacDaddyI Studios. When the regular Mac Daddies aren't cutting it, go for a big one. Anyway, so those of you in America that watch the news, you know of Christie. And for those of you who don't, I'm going to explain some things regarding this man. Christie is the governor of New Jersey. And if any of you have been to New Jersey, you know it's very industrialist. It's a worker city. It's a city of workers. There's smokestacks and it's an industrial city. And Christie is this city's governor. Well, he is going to run for, he wants to run for He wants to run for president in 2016. Well, in September, a very important bridge in New Jersey got closed for, I believe it was, road testing or surveying. Well, a few weeks ago, it came out that it could possibly have been a scandal and not really surveying. And now what I'm explaining to is this. This bridge connects one part of New Jersey to the other part, and on the part that was closed, the other side, was a mayor. And this mayor was not a big fan of Christie, and I mean, not everybody's a big fan of everybody. I understand. I mean, it's not that bad. But the thing is, the allegations point to that Christie closed the bridge because this mayor was not with him. He wasn't going to support him for the presidential election. And that's very wrong. I mean, I don't like Cheerios that much. I'm not going to destroy them in the store when I walk past them. I'll get to it later. But anyway, so there's these text messages out between one of Christie's staff and an unknown participant. They blocked the name before they were released, and that's another thing that's a little bit iffy, whether he knew or not. So there's these text messages that say, "Oh, would you like to close the bridge? Go on with it." And they're wrong. Let me just put it that way. If you have a chance, look up what the text messages are, and I can tell you this: they're a little sickening when it comes to the fact that a man of the people possibly could have said them. And that's what I want to get to. When is power too much? When does somebody hold the power over others and it becomes too much? He's the governor. He should have to. There should be a system of checks and balances that prevent this sort of thing. I mean, if it was an actual survey, yeah, that's a good enough reason for closing the bridge. But it wasn't a survey. Allegedly, it was just to get back at this mayor. So I'm asking you, the viewers, when is power too much? When do we as a people have to tell our leaders that is not right and that they're going too far? I mean, it goes back to the days of J. Edgar Hoover when he was the head of the FBI and he had everybody's balls in his hand. And it happens all the time. It's the same thing as a police officer giving you a ticket because of your race or of your ethnic or your religion. It's the same thing. And it's wrong because we elect these officials based on what they can do for us, not what they can do to us negatively. And it's just wrong. I mean, no one, as a normal human being, you don't say, man, I don't really like this person that much, so I'm going to ruin everybody's lives who is who's mayored by this guy, and it closed down this one lane of this bridge, causing traffic delays. Now this was back in September, but I mean, it was ambulances couldn't get through, police couldn't. It's just wrong. And again, that's what I want to ask you, the viewers. When is power too much? Should a famous YouTuber have the power to control who gets views and who doesn't? Should the police officer get to write tickets for the only reason of ethnic people or religious views? Should the politician be able to close bridges due to an opponent? Should the school teacher be allowed to give bad grades just because she's not a big fan of the student? It's wrong. And I think as a country in America, we need to pay more attention to stuff like that going on. And I'm sorry for ranting, but I mean, it's a little bit of appalling and disgusting just that someone has that power and has the balls to use that power for something so petty. It's childish. The fact that he actually did that. It is childish that Christie closed a bridge because some mayor would not support him. I mean, it essentially is going to ruin Christie's chances for presidency, because I think he was one of the top people for president. He was one of the top, I guess what you call it, electorals or whatever. I don't know what you would call it. Anyway. He seems like a nice guy. I mean, he's blunt, and I mean, he's a big guy. I mean, a lot of newscasters and a lot of people go after that he's a heavy-set fella. But I mean, I can't really, because I'm like a younger Jonah Hill mixed with John Goodman, so I can't really say anything. But I mean, I think that we should look past his bluntness, because in my opinion, that's what's needed, and I'll probably make a video about that sometime soon. I think his bluntness and his weight and anything other than what he does with his power should be overlooked. It's the fact that his power is overlooked because of some personal issues is appalling too. It's sad. Anyway, again, leave it in the comments. When do you think power becomes too much? When do you think people overstep their lines of power? Well, I guess you guys have heard me talking enough, so I'm going to let you guys go. That's all for me. Click the like button if you enjoyed, and if you really enjoyed, why don't you subscribe? I'll be trying to give you stuff at least on a weekly basis if I can. Anyway, thanks and have a nice day. BigMacDaddyI out.